welcome back. Okay, so for this video, saya akan cakap pasal sunscreen and apa itu physical and chemical sunscreen and macam mana mau pilih untuk jenis kulit kamu. Okay, so sunscreen ni comes in banyak forms. Dia ada gel, dia ada lotion, dia ada spray, and also dia ada stick foundation pula, stick sunscreen. So the function of sunscreen is to protect kulit kita daripada the sun UV rays that can cause premature aging and also skin cancer. So premature aging ni dia macam wrinkling, sagging, and also age spots. Okay, so siapa harus pakai sunscreen? Everyone should pakai sunscreen except kalau kamu baby yang under 6 months old. So sunscreen ni dia contain banyak ingredients, especially chemical ingredients that could irritate sensitive skin and also baby skin. So have to be careful when you're choosing your sunscreen. So sunscreen ni ada dua jenis, dia ada physical and also chemical sunscreen. Okay, physical and chemical sunscreen, apa dia punya beza? First is cara dia function. So physical sunscreen, dia akan block and scatter the UV ray before dia masuk dalam kulit kita. And chemical sunscreen pula, dia akan absorb the UV ray, turn it into heat, and then release it back into the environment. Now, beza ingredient pula, and this is the easier way to see whether you have a chemical sunscreen or a physical sunscreen. So a physical sunscreen, also known as a mineral sunscreen, contains two mineral-based ingredients. Dia adalah titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. So kalau kamu tengok kamu punya ingredients list in your sunscreen, you can see which ingredient yang ada di dalam kamu punya sunscreen. Okay, so if your sunscreen contains these 4 ingredients, which is oxybenzone, octinoxate, octisalate, and avobenzone, then you have a chemical sunscreen. Okay, so contoh lah, kamu ada dua this type of ingredients in your sunscreen. Let's say you have zinc oxide and also you have avobenzone. That means you have a sunscreen which is a combination of physical and also chemical sunscreen. Okay, now that you know the difference between physical and chemical sunscreen, let's look at the pros and cons of physical sunscreen first. So physical sunscreen, dia punya pros are, it has a broad spectrum protection, means they will protect from UVA and also UVB. It is safe for babies and also for women who are pregnant because it doesn't contain all of those chemical ingredients that can be harmful. Third is you get protection as soon as it is applied on your skin, so there's no waiting time. Fourth, it is less likely to irritate sensitive skin and also heat-activated skin problems such as rosacea because it doesn't absorb the UV ray. Dia kasi reflect balik, so dia tidak pun penetrate into your skin. Fifth, it has a longer shelf life, and sixth, it doesn't damage the coral reef. Okay, so the cons of a physical sunscreen pula. So the first one is that it rubs off or it rinses off quite easily. So you have to reapply it every time it gets wet or it gets rubbed off. So you have to reapply constantly. Okay, the second one is a very famous problem of a physical sunscreen is that it gives a white cast to your face. So because of the ingredients, zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, it has this chalky white effect on the skin. Okay, third is it can feel heavy under makeup or on top of your skin because of the way it is formulated. Sometimes it even feels oilier. So for me, I'm using a physical sunscreen and you can see that my face is so berkilat. It's because of the sunscreen. It's a very it looks oily but it doesn't feel oily to me. Fourth is that it's thicker so that it is harder to rub into your skin, so it takes more effort for you to blend it all over your face or your body, neck, so there's more effort to it. And fifth, you need a generous application for it to be effective, so you cannot use sikit saja, you need to use quite a lot for it to be effective and for it to cover your whole face and neck area. Okay, now for the pros and cons of a chemical sunscreen. The first pros of a chemical sunscreen is that it's thinner, so it's easier for you to spread on your face and also on your neck. Second, you need less product to get protection from the sun, so you don't need to apply too much on your face and on your neck, so it doesn't feel heavy under makeup for you to use this on a daily basis. Third, because of their consistency is quite thin, so it's easier for you to use with other products such as your serum or your produk-produk lain lah, produk-produk skincare yang lain, because it goes well with it, it's not too thick, and it's easy for you to combine these ingredients together. Okay, so the cons of a chemical sunscreen. Dia ada lebih banyak cons daripada physical sunscreen. So the first cons of a chemical sunscreen is that it comes with an increased risk of getting irritation and stinging on the skin. It's because of the ingredients yang ada dalam chemical sunscreen. So when you're using a sunscreen and you feel they're stinging, means that dia tidak ngam your skin is getting irritated, agitated, and it's going to get sensitive from a chemical sunscreen. So maybe you need to switch to a physical sunscreen. Okay, second con for chemical sunscreen also has something to do with the ingredients, because there are more ingredients required to create enough protection from UVA, UVB, and also higher SPF. Means that there's a lot of chemical ingredients in a chemical sunscreen that can potentially cause irritation and also not so good for people with sensitive skin. Third, you don't get their punya effect right after you apply. You have to wait for 20 minutes before you step out into the sun. So you cannot just right on the go apply and go out. So you must have a waiting time of 20 minutes at least. Fourth, it has an increased chance of getting redness for people who tend to get redness on the skin, or people with skin conditions such as rosacea, which is heat activated because of the way the chemical sunscreen works. So that's another thing to keep in mind if you want to use a chemical sunscreen. Fifth one is that it can clog pores and also cause breakouts on acne-prone skin, which I've personally experienced because I tried a chemical sunscreen and I got breakouts. So right now my skin okay sudah sikit, tapi actually I still have breakouts on this side, which is my sensitive side. So yeah, it's still breaking out. Since I pakai chemical sunscreen, I've already switched to physical sunscreen, but I'm still feeling the effect of a chemical sunscreen. So for those with acne-prone, sensitive skin, you have to be wary of the ingredients in your sunscreen. Please read through the ingredients list and check properly. The sixth one is oxybenzone absorbs through the skin to a greater extent. Okay, so I have to read this on the research that I found. It says that current research shows oxybenzone, which is contained in chemical sunscreen, in particular, is absorbed through the skin to a greater extent than previously understood, and is present in human breast milk, amniotic fluid, urine, and blood plasma. However, Dr. Scalzi points out that just because it's in the bloodstream doesn't mean that it's dangerous. These sunscreens have been around a long time with no known toxicity, even with these detectable levels. Okay, so the American Academy of Dermatology also maintains that you should use sunscreen, including those with chemical filters, as the benefits far outweigh any risks. However, the effects of sunscreen go beyond human health. Research has shown that chemical ingredients, particularly oxybenzone, can be detrimental to our ocean's coral reefs. While no sunscreen is proven to be 100% reef safe, physical sunscreens have not yet been found to harm corals, according to the National Park Service. So that's on the cons of chemical sunscreen. Okay, so now that you know the difference between chemical and physical sunscreen, and also the pros and cons of physical and chemical sunscreens, how do you choose which one to use? So the research that I've read and also the articles that I've read through, the number one thing that they say how to choose your sunscreen is the one that you will tend to use daily. Means that it's the one that you're most comfortable with, you have no problems with it, you don't feel oily, you don't feel ada clogged pores, you don't feel heavy. So those are the sunscreens that are most suitable for you, that you tend to use daily, because you have to protect your skin from the sun daily. Okay, but the second point is that if you have acne prone skin, if you have sensitive skin, if you do not have time to wait for the sunscreen to work, because chemical sunscreen you need 20 minutes to wait for it to work before you can step out, but physical sunscreen apply sejak terus dia akan effective. If you are conscious about the coral reef, so you should use physical sunscreen like me, because I have acne prone sensitive skin, so I've chosen physical sunscreen for my sunscreen choice. Okay, so other than that, there are other points to consider. So whether it is broad spectrum or not, when you're choosing your sunscreen, whether it's physical or chemical, it should have broad spectrum protection, means it has protection from UVA and UVB. And what is the difference between UVA and UVB? It's very easy to remember. UVA, just remember A is for aging. So anything that is aging is caused by UVA. Aging like sagging, wrinkling, age spots, dark spots, pigmentations, those are all UVA punya salah. And UVB, just remember B is for burn, so UVB causes sunburn. So you need both of this. You need protection from both of this, UVA and UVB, for your sunscreen to be fully effective. The second one is that SPF 30 is the minimum. So 30 to 50. Above 50 is actually, through the articles that I've read, it doesn't really exist, because of the difference in the protection you get between a 50 and 100 SPF. Contoh is only 1%, so there's not really a big difference there. So in terms of sunscreen in Korea and Japan, there's a law that says that sets that the SPF paling tinggi is SPF 50 saja yang boleh kena taruh in the packaging. Another thing to consider is whether it is water resistant or not for outdoor activity. Let's say you're going to island, or you're gonna go workout or hiking, so it has to be water resistant so that you don't have to reapply balik-balik. And then the fourth one is that it's fragrance free and paraben free, also if possible alcohol free. So those are the things that should be considered if you have sensitive and acne prone skin. Okay. Alright, I think I've covered everything about physical, chemical sunscreen, how to choose, what are the pros and cons, and yeah. I will be covering, I think, my favorite sunscreen in the next few videos. So if you are curious, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!